So one of the guys I work with saw the detailed back scratcher video that I just did and said, I want one. So this is a piece of bowling alley floor that I'm cleaning up. And then this is how I glued up the other pieces together with the Titebond 3 for the front. And then just like the previous ones, I'm using the little bandsaw to trim the handle to be a slightly better, smaller shape. And that works pretty good. I really like that bandsaw setup. And then we just do the curves and the other curves, and it actually works pretty good. That height ends up being good. And there I just realized the top needs to be a little thicker, or thinner rather. And here, just like before, I'm using the trim router to make a mess and start the edges for the handle, because I found that does definitely make it easier than starting completely from scratch with just rasps. I still have to use the rasps sometimes, but it makes it so much quicker to start this way. And I did a 1/2 inch on one side and a 1/4 inch on the other side. Here I'm just doing the sanding, same as before. Just roughing it up and then get it close and realize I need a little more. There we go, and doing this, the files and the rasps and all the fun bit, just like the previous ones. And then start with 80 grit sandpaper. And I really like this little sauce, or the Ryobi Corner Cat. I think that's what that one's called. It works really good for this. And since this is, with this piece of bowling alley floor, there was a nail hole in that I replaced with a dowel, and then there were some spots where there were some of the plastic injection that they do, because for something with they put something down in and they do plastic injection to fill in the holes. But here, just getting the handle all shaped up and realized I had to do a little more evening out on the top. So back to the sander. And then once this part's all done, I'm testing and getting set up to put the slot in for the little oak blades that is going to be used for this one. So here, because of the shape, I had to use a spacer board, but that let me do cuts like this, and a little bit, not quite enough, just barely do it. Try again, test, nope, try again, test, almost, a little bit more. And then it works. Nice friction fit. So that's perfect. So now I can cut the blades to length. So I really like this hand saw. It's a old school crosscut saw, and it actually works really nice for thin pieces. It doesn't work so good for thicker pieces, I found, but thin pieces it works great to cut things off nice and square. And so I ended up doing, I think, 3 blades for that to make sure that all fit. And there's the last piece going. I realized I needed one more. And then that worked. So once I got it all glued in and a little more sanding done behind the scenes, then I put the little teeth in, and that worked. And then I just have to do some more finish sanding after this, but at this point the hard part's done. Most of the pieces just ready to go. You just need to do the final sanding. So there was sanding at 80 grit, and then 120, and then 220, and I think that was a 120. And some of them, it's interesting. Like there's a 220 yellow sandpaper, but on the corner cap. But then I switched to another piece of 220, and that was red. So you just definitely have to look at see what the numbers are on the back versus paying attention to, what's on what the color is. Here I have a little edge piece that works great, and just going over it with 220 and getting all good. There's that piece of red 220 to do final bits, just to try and get the sanding marks off. And then we're all good with that. That's all done. And then that's what it looks like when it has a coat of the triple thick polyurethane on. And there we go. Alright, well, the back scratcher is done. And we'll see if the sunshine works to pull out the details. think it'll work to pull out the grain on this one. This one has the bowling alley floor handle, which you can see the fancy grain on, and a little hanger piece. And that was a dowel I put in for one of the nail holes from the bowling alley floor. That's a piece of plastic they do for injection when they do the setup of that. There's another piece of plastic injection. But yeah, it works good. I've tried it. It works great through shirt. It would work even better through non-shirt, but since this is someone else's, I don't try that. But yeah, this is awesome. It came out really nice. And I'm using the camcorder so you can see the actual grain on the maple. So, yeah, I think that's going to work really good. I can just get up there. Arm's length, the camera will work for that. So, there we go. That one is done too.